Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 459. Donna Nelson. Welcome to Easily Mastering Navigating Adversity. This is the Rooted in Wisdom series on A Daily Dose of Donna. So today I'm talking about how to easily master navigating adversity. So we all face adversity of some type, and having the skills embodied to navigate it easily is literally a life-saving skill. And I say that because it can be the difference between how you maintain relationships, how you make money in a business deal, and also in your health and well-being. Because when we are stressed, overwhelmed, have consumed too much of a problem, then our stress response has kicked in. And when we're in a stressful state where those survival hormones are peaking, then essentially we're losing our shit because our frontal lobe is offline and our body is like, okay, now we have to prepare to engage to defend ourselves. And for most of us, that is not physical, right? That becomes often more tactical, right? In trying to figure out how to solve a problem or how to protect our emotions, our dignity, something like that. Or maybe just protecting someone else's emotional state, right? Whether it's someone that we care about, someone in our workplace, our children, whatever that is. But for the most part, most of us, the adversity that we're facing is in relationships and how we're interacting or what our expectations are with others and that kind of thing. So I wanted to share a bit about how do we easily embody who we need to be and how we need to be to navigate adversity. It is literally the biggest thing that I help my clients with, because as they're going forward, whether it's in business or in life or the relationships or the biggest challenges that they're facing and trying to navigate in their day to day, knowing how to embody and keep yourself centered, keep your nervous system regulated, um, and being able to easily navigate through a crisis or a situation that has you under a lot of pressure can be literally transformational. So not only does it help the outcome of the situation, but it helps you feel cool and empowered, knowing that an outcome was exactly what you desired and that you were in control of that outcome. So feeling in our body and being in control is what is going to keep your frontal lobe online so that you can be more creative, more engaged, more thoughtful in your responses, more strategic, better at making decisions, all of those things when you're under pressure. So there's this definition of mastering um, this emotional state, like mastering adversity. And I love the way Dr. Joe Dispenza put it. So I'm going to read to you for what I took from him. And mastery is that our internal chemical state is greater than anything in our external world. In my opinion, you are a master when you've conditioned yourself with chosen thoughts and feelings you've memorized, desired emotional or chemical states. Nothing in your external life deters you from your aims. No person, no thing, no experience at any time or place should disrupt your internal chemical coherence. You think, act, and feeling differently whenever you choose. This is Mastery, Dr. Joe Dispenza. So if you follow my work at all, you've heard me say lots of times it's all about the feeling, right? So what is the feeling that you're desiring to be present in this situation that you're trying to navigate that is causing this disruption? So, or you're going or planning to go into a conversation, whether it's a business meeting or an intimate relationship or whatever it is, you know that there's going to be some level of discomfort or potential for disruption or disagreement, um, and or some kind of adversity. And so the one thing that I want to say is that it's a practice, like learning to embody, as Dr. Joe says, that internal chemical state, which is our emotional state, is what dictates the chemical state. Then when we embody and practice that as a routine, whenever, even when we're unprepared, like unknowing, getting into a situation that causes discomfort or could potentially throw us off balance because there's a conflict that has just come up, um, we're not thrown off. You're able to stay in that desired chemical state of whatever that emotion is that you know is your happy place, your grounded place, that place where you're going to be in control and be able to navigate and respond in an intelligent, professional, kind, compassionate, whatever that is that you desire as who you want to embody. So so to get to the point, right? What is that embodied state? What is that uh, emotion, the feeling that you want to embody, to be in that, to maintain that internal state, where it's your internal world that is dictating the way you're behaving or the way you're reacting or the way you're feeling, and not what is occurring outside of you, coming from other people or world events or circumstances, situations, the past, any of those things. So the way that you get there is by deciding what is the emotion, what is the feeling state that I want to maintain? What is it? And so there's one constant, right? So you could choose one constant, and then I'm going to tell you how to achieve that and how to practice it. But then there are other ways also, right? So you're going into a stressful situation where there's going to be some conflict, or where you're going to have a difficult conversation, and maybe you don't really like conflict. Maybe you don't like disagreement, or you don't like telling people what to do, or you don't like to be the decision maker, or whatever those things are, right? So then that feels really uncomfortable. So getting to the root of that, that's a whole other thing, right? Like, so what's that about? But in the meantime, you can make a decision, because all of this is about a choice. Everything is about a choice. You are choosing how you want to be. What is the state I want to be in? What is it I want to embody? What is my presence? How do I want to show up? How do I want to be perceived? How do I want to feel in this situation? So you're making that decision. What is the feeling I want to hold on to that will make me feel best about who I am in that moment, and that I'll be able to deliver the kindness or the compassion or the truth or whatever that outcome is that you want to have? What is the state that you need to be in? So while you might be able to name it, it might be harder to then go, oh, okay, whatever that emotional state is, right? Maybe let's just call it peace, right? So you want to feel at ease and at peace inside. So that being the state, now connect to a time when you felt that? Like, how do you know what that actually feels like in your body? And in order to know that, you had to have had a prior experience. So what was that prior experience that you could envision and recall the memories to bring that feeling into your body? So you have to be able to connect to that feeling. And then the task for you is to sit with that feeling, because the ultimate achievement here to mastery, as Dr. Joe says, right, is to repeat it and repeat it and repeat it and repeat it and keep practicing that memory, feeling the experience of what peace and ease feels like in my body, so that you can call it like that. And the way that you can call it, like when you practice it enough, because it's just our whole body, it's just a memory. We're just creating memories. And memories get created by experience. And so you have to practice it. Your body has to be familiar with that to create it on call, right? So as you're practicing this, and then when you get into that situation, so let's say it's next week, you know, you have this big thing, and maybe that big thing is doing a presentation and you don't like speaking in front of people, and that feels very difficult for you, and it's bringing up these emotions, and maybe it's triggering things from earlier in your life that were very uncomfortable about being in front of people or something. Again, that's another thing. Let's deal with that another time, right? But in the meantime, calling up, so practicing this, bringing in this feeling it in your body, noticing how that feels, and then when you're walking into that situation, you can recall this memory and bring that calm in. So what is the advantage of doing that? One is, when we're bringing in these calm, positive, empowering emotions into our body is then regulated. Our nervous system is in a calm response instead of in a stress response. So where we start getting into trouble is when we start to feel a little anxious, or we start to worry, and then our body gets triggered into that stress response, and then things start unraveling unless you can bring it back. So having that, bringing yourself back to that emotional state and practicing that so that you are prepared, and you're in a more healthy, empowering state. So I think that was the most important thing. I just wanted to give you that one practice, that one tool, and help you understand that it's your internal state where you're going to be able to control your external outcomes better, and by controlling your internal state, those things outside of you, those external influences, are not going to be able to overtake your emotional state, because you're pulling in and practicing that conditioned emotional state that is going to keep you grounded and centered and regulated. That regulated nervous system, like, that's everything, right? But it's all about pulling in the feeling. It's the feeling, the feeling, the feeling. It's the feeling. It's not in the head, it's in the feeling. All right. So tell me in the comments, what is your feeling? What's that feeling state that you know is your mastery? All right. Good night, everyone.